All right, so got my notebook, got my phone for things. I can hear you, you can hear me, and it looks like we are ready to go. Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Tina and Anderson Show. This is episode 26. If you're still with us, thank you. We appreciate it. And we are just a married couple that likes to talk about marriage, parenting, and we speak against feminism and the red pill because we just believe that traditional marriage is a pretty good way to live your marriage because for years that's how it worked. Decades,
and if you
centuries,
incorporate the red pill and feminism into your marriage, it's not going to be a good outcome.
And that is why
period.
Marriage is at its all-time high.
Marriages?
That is why. I mean, sorry,
divorce
is at an all-time high.
Oh my God!
And marriage
the opposite.
that is an all-time low. Mm-hmm. But yeah, guys, we're gonna have a different show today. We're not gonna do any reaction videos to any TikToks or reels. We're basically gonna go through some Reddit stories. And pretty much I just went through Reddit and just looked at like marriage issues. Mm-hmm. And I came through some Reddit posts that were pretty good that I want to go over with you guys. And just I'm gonna read through them and we're just gonna talk about them. And we're just gonna go through them, and that's it. And then we'll end the show after.
After that. And then you guys tune in the comments. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, and tell us how terrible we're doing. How
horrible we are.
That's what I pretty much get on YouTube.
Yep, the haters are always louder. So
that's all right, man.
Okay.
Hey, that's all right. I know we got some kinks to work out. I know we're not perfect yet. I know we're not.
I don't think we're ever going to be
We don't
perfect.
have any like radio broadcasting experience.
Nope.
So we really started this from scratch. So yeah, there's some like parts that we do. We're like, ugh, why do we do that? But we're learning. We're trying to fix it. Mm-hmm. It's not like we're like ignorant to the fact that we're like not perfect at this. Not that we'll ever will be, but you know, we're just not as good as we want to be. But I believe we're getting better, a little bit better here and there. I believe it. But for those that have subscribed, because we did have some new subscribers, I appreciate it. I mean, it really helps me feel better about doing this. And I mean, it's not a lot of subscribers, like 3 or 4, but hey, that's better.
Tell a friend.
Than like unsubscribing.
Tell a friend.
So when we get like 2 or 3 or 4 subscribers, it makes me happy. It really does. Because if it's like 3 or 4 a week, that's a lot. That's a lot. So I appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing and watching and growing with us. Because how awesome would it be if we hit like episode 100 and we have a lot of subscribers and, you know,
and we can celebrate with a lot of people.
Celebrate with the people that's been with us since like day one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I mean, hey, it's far off, far away. You know,
well, it's like I know so many people like on YouTube that I'm like, I can't believe they're big now because like I was following them when they were literally nobody.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's like you're like, whoa, now they're like huge.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's these travel vloggers that we watch, and we went back and watched like their first episodes, and it was just like, man, the quality. And they were like
everybody goes through
and they were so like, awkward back then because they're just like didn't know what to do in front of a camera. But now they're just like so professional. I can't speak again. They're so professional at it. It's like it just like flows for them, I guess. It just comes naturally. It's just
all about time and experience. Yeah. That's all.
So we're going to get better. So all right, so the first one that I wanted to go over here is, let me see, I think, yeah, Sage.
Oh, you don't have them for the screen?
No, so So parents asking. Okay, so uh, okay, so the first one.
Here we are.
So the first one, it's titled, "My parents after 25 years revealed they have marriage problems and expect their kids to fix it for them."
No.
Yeah, right there. It's
Right there. You're
Not a
like,
good
yeah,
thing.
not on your parents' side.
yeah. So we are four, the youngest being 19. My dad has always compared. My dad has always complained about my mom ever since we were kids. My mom used to throw dishes across the kitchen when she got mad. Long story short, this continued until the oldest three made it to university. Now that we're done university and are trying to create our careers, my mom calls every single one of us complaining about how she's got trust issues with her husband and if we have any advice on how she can fix them. This is not your children's problem. Your relationship, it's your relationship, you fix it yourself, which is that's true. That's a good response. That's what I would tell my parents.
You shouldn't
Like,
want
why you-
to involve your
Yeah,
children,
don't
even
involve
if
me
they
in your
are
relationship.
adults. Like they're not children, but they're your adult children.
Right.
So it's like they're trying to do their adult thing. They're trying to get their adult life going, probably in relationships and just doing all the adult things for like the first time, just being out of college.
Right.
Maybe living on their own in relationships.
Yeah.
You know, who knows, where they're all at in their life, but like,
Yeah, how can they give marriage advice to someone who's been married
Yeah.
like their whole life? And like Dave Ramsey has says, you can't give advice to somebody who's changed your diapers.
yeah.
I mean, there might be some advice like, for example, my parents might ask me some advice about some electrical work in their house.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's not marriage
that's something
advice.
that's my profession. That's my profession, so I can give them advice. But like any type of life advice, like
It's not going to be
Yeah.
taken seriously.
so, she admits that she's never openly communicated with her husband and expects her kids to teach her how that works. Whenever we get a call, it's always about what dad said hurt her and what advice we have. When dad calls, he complains about how mom is emotional and has ruined his entire life and he should have never gotten married. Wow, that's something your kids want to hear.
Oh, yeah.
That's a wonderful thing to say to your kids.
About their father.
Even when they're adults.
Adult children.
It hurts your children when you say that. So we are never asked how our day is, how our lives are going, or if we need anything.
So they're both in their selfish era.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
they're
very
like
selfish.
It's like they're like, our kids are grown. Now it's all about me.
Yeah.
Which is like, sure, you're in a different phase of your life. You just raised these kids. Now they're all out of the house, whether, I don't know if, any of them are still in college, whatever, but seems like they're all out of the house. This is another completely different phase of your life.
Yeah.
But like, to involve your adult children in your selfishness doesn't really make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It just, like they're still your children, and they don't need to be a part of your dysfunction.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't have your kids be your therapist.
No, God,
You
it's
can't.
such a bad idea.
Yeah.
They're gonna need therapists
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
expect them to be your therapist.
Definitely throwing your kids
Oh,
into
you're
therapy.
affecting them big time.
So we, the kids, are effectively being used as people to vent to. Both of them call each one of us to tell the exact same story. It's like, hey, did you get the story from Dad? Yup, got it today.
Yep, same thing.
So we're getting sick of it because we're all in our 20s and have enough problems of our own. Yeah, you're starting your adult
Your
life.
life. Yeah.
So you're trying to figure out the world and to be an adult in it, and now your parents are just unloading on you with their problems. Yeah. That's less stress that you need.
that your parents are being selfish and they want to like you to be it's almost like they want them to set their life aside to focus on the parents.
Yeah.
When this is not a good time right now to be doing. That's one thing if you have aging elderly parents, like your focus totally shifts
Yeah.
from like whatever's going on in your life to your parents who need you
Yeah.
because of, you know, something physical or mental or
Right.
whatever. But this is like a whole nother animal.
Right.
Like they literally are like, oh no, they're all out of the house. How do we get their attention focused back on us?
Right. Which is
It's
kind of sick.
like,
Kind of sick.
that's definitely not okay.
Yeah, because to me, it's like, yeah, like when our kids move out, it's gonna be sad, and I'm gonna miss them. But I'm also gonna be proud and just like happy just to watch them grow.
I feel like
know?
we would be so much more careful of what we draw our children into when they're not living in our house with us.
Yeah, they don't
And
need
like
to know everything.
they're not of like a part of our home life. They're a part of our family,
Yeah.
but they're not a part of our home life. So it's like we actually get to choose what we can draw them in
Right.
on, and to choose that. Like, oh no, I want you to hate your father. Oh well, I want you to hate your mother.
Yeah.
Like to choose
Terrible.
to draw your adult children into that dysfunction is very odd to me.
It is. It is. So last thing they said here is if we can't call for a week, they start guilt tripping us.
Oh, yeah, see, it's all about them.
Unnecessary
both in, like,
stress.
They're both in like their selfish era. Like they're both like, you know, like I don't even know if they feel like entitled somehow because like we raised you.
Yeah.
Now you help us. Like not with this
Oh
though.
no, that's something you should never do as a parent.
Not with this though.
Your kids don't owe you anything. You brought them into this world. They don't owe you anything.
The basics were just keeping your kids
Yeah.
alive. That was the baseline.
Yeah.
Keeping your kids alive.
They do owe me one thing: living a good life and making good choices. Yeah.
Yeah, because that
So
reflects
there-
onto you.
So there is an update. It says we have tried going low contact, but then they take out their anger on our youngest sibling who still lives at home.
Oh, there's one still living at
Oh
home.
man,
They're like probably getting the brunt of it.
that is
That
is terrible.
I wonder how young and how many
And
more
they-
years they're living at home for.
Yeah, it says yes, we're trying to get them out.
Talk about being gypped. Like all these other kids that grew up in the house, grew up with mom and dad married. Who knows what kind of marriage? I mean, it doesn't sound like it was real great.
No, because it says
Yeah.
that hasn't been good for a long time.
A long time. And then so like now there's this one sibling that lives at home, and it's who knows? Do they live with mom? Do they live with dad?
That I don't. Well,
Does mom and dad still live together?
Yeah, it says they still live together.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it says here youngest the anger on they take out the who still lives at home. So I'm
Right.
assuming
So I'm
with them.
assuming both of them still live.
Yeah, one person says here they are setting you up. Don't get involved unless you want to keep draining yourself and your mental health. Exactly. Then when you're married, Oh, okay, sorry. Then when you're married or dating, your mom will insert all your opinions into your relationship because she knows you did about hers. I don't know what they're trying to say there. Then your partner will be on the crossfire. Yeah, you don't want that. So yeah, it's basically it's just it could affect their future relationships.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I think they're trying to say too that like, so like say your mom contacts you about a problem and you disagree with your mom, like you're like, well, mom, that's not okay that you did that. Now your mom is mad at you. So now you got to deal with like the stress of like your mom being mad at you about something that the father did. And
Yeah.
it's like I was saying, you get wrapped up in it and you shouldn't be, you know?
Right, I agree. Yeah.
And now you've got multiple people mad at each other. And not only that, you're roping in all of the kids. Like what if like the brother and sister disagree it causes this whole massive
Yeah.
like you've brought this issue to your children
It seems-
and now your children are disagreeing with each other. This one's disagreeing with the mom, that
Yeah.
one's disagreeing with the father. Like it just creates
Yeah, it definitely
like,
can break up a family. I
like
think
division.
I think in this case, all the siblings are on the same side.
Yeah, and they're
which
just
is
sick
they're
of
on
it.
they're
Yeah.
on their own side. They're
Yeah.
not on either parent's side.
Yeah, they just want it to
One,
stop.
yeah,
it
one
sounds
person
like.
one person said, "Send them the phone number of local divorce attorneys and call it a day."
Call it a day.
Yep.
Like we need to end this now.
This one said, "Easy. Just tell them that your rates are $25 an hour weekdays during the normal business hours, $40 after, and with your weekend rates being $35 an hour from 8 to 6."
That's cheap.
Yeah. Last one. Tell them that you are sorry for what's happening, but there is nothing they can do. If they really want help, they need to get therapy for marriage and individual. If they don't, then they don't want to fix the issues. They just want to fight. And if that's the case, they need to leave y'all alone.
Right.
That's true. I agree with that. I mean, you're not only your relationship with each other is already broken because there is no sign of you wanting to fix it. And because of that,
both people.
and because of that, they're both ruining their relationship with their children. They are going to lose their children.
Well, yeah, they're pushing them further and further away. You think they're going to want to like, go back home for Christmas?
Yeah.
If like this is what they have to do every year, they're going to get further and further
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
You're just pushing your kids away.
Like when I talk to my parents, it's like, "Hey, how are you? How's everything? How you been?" And then they ask me about my kids. That's what it is. That's what it should be. Not listening.
yeah.
Complain about my mother or my father the whole time. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah,
Like,
and it says there that they don't even ask, like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on in your life?
yeah.
Update on just life things. Like they're in their selfish era big
Yeah.
time. Their focus is on them, probably because they kind of feel like they can because their children are all grown.
Yeah.
But it's like the fact that you're choosing to rope your children in to your dysfunction is a terrible thing to do
Yeah.
to your family and to your kids.
Oh yeah. Definitely. It definitely big
Yep.
put a big dent in your
Yeah,
relationship.
Big no.
All right, so we're gonna go through another one here. Okay, this one here is, so what are common problems in a marriage? So this Reddit poster said this. What are common problems in a marriage? So there are 4 things that they are talking about here. So the first one is finances. I agree. That is one of the top. Too many people go into marriage carrying a mine versus yours attitude. The thing is, the courts don't agree. Everything you do financially is for the benefit of the team, or quote unquote, or the partnership, which is it's a union. You
You're
are
a
one.
union.
You are one, right? That is you and your spouse. It's okay to keep finances separate if that helps you keep track of it better. No, it's not. Totally
No.
disagree with that. Finances
yeah.
need to be together, and you both need to learn how to communicate, budget together, and spend together. Okay. But in the end, most of it belongs to both of you. This seems to be a bigger problem in couples where there is a large income disparity, especially if one partner is a stay-at-home parent. So we disagree with this keeping things separate. You do not keep anything separate. You share a house together. You share children. You share a bed. You share your bank account. Share your bank account.
I would feel like after sharing so many things, and the one thing that we can't share is finances, I would feel like we are failing very badly.
Yeah,
Like
and
we are missing a whole lot
Yeah.
in communication,
Right.
and we probably need some help. If
Yeah.
we can't get finances like figured out together, that's such a huge part because we have been there where like finances were massively stressful.
Right. Yeah.
It was a very stressful thing,
Because we weren't working together.
you know, and like, yeah, we weren't working together, but also like way back, you know, there was a lot we had to work on together in order to make it work because we didn't have much to work with.
Right.
You know, so it's like if when your marriage is going through like financial stress, like if you think that that does not affect your marriage, you're crazy. Like,
Yeah, it could be a deeper issue if people don't want to share bank accounts together.
yeah.
A lot of times it could be a much deeper issue
Yeah,
than
like a trust
just
thing.
finances. And the whole thing about the income disparity, so what? If one spouse makes 150 and the other one makes 50, guess what? You both make 200,000.
Yeah.
So you would say your household income, what do you make? You don't say, well, I make 150, she makes 50.
makes 50.
You know, you say we make 200,000 a year.
Right. It's
That's what you say.
combined together.
Because you both go into the same bank account and you both spend out of it. It doesn't matter if your employer pays you more than her employer or vice
'Cause
versa.
it's the same
It doesn't
household.
matter. Yeah, you're
It's
both
the
contributing
same
to the same
bills.
household. It doesn't have to be equally because what's going to happen? Either she has to work her butt off or he to make money as much as their spouse, or one spouse has to be like, you know what? I got to lower my income because I got to make the exact amount as my spouse. Like
None of that makes any sense.
It makes you should
That
be
doesn't make any sense.
You should be happy if your spouse starts making more money. You should be, because that's more money for the household.
See, that's the mindset. If you have a household where each person thinks this is mine, that is his, then you almost don't think of your situation as a household.
Yeah.
You think of it as his and mine.
Your roommates.
Yeah, your roommates sharing bills.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
to me, if you can work together and get your finances under control together as a unit, you are succeeding massively in your marriage. And if it's going the other way, there is a problem.
Yeah.
There is a problem that is being exposed through your finances.
Right.
Like it's telling you something. Like you're not communicating together. You're not on the same page. He's over here in left field. You're over there. Like you should want to be together in everything because that's how marriage succeeds. Otherwise, you're driving a wedge in between the two of you. Everything you do separately within your household is driving a bigger and bigger and bigger wedge. You know, like, I mean, you can go into things like having separate beds, having separate bedrooms. Like, it just keeps going, and then you become more and more and more separate.
Yep.
So, and finances is a big thing. If you can figure that thing out, then like your marriage can probably make it through anything.
Yeah, it was one of the top leading reasons for divorce is finances. And not because one person doesn't make enough, it's just because you're just not on the same page.
I think that people think that you almost don't have to because you can just keep it separate.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to be united in our finances because we can just do everything separately. So why do we have to? Then that breaks down communication.
Yeah.
And it leaves out a lot of communication.
And it can lead to financial infidelity.
And then like there are so many things you don't have to talk about because everything is separate.
Right.
So like what, like the amount of like conversation you're just never going to have that like he's not going to know or she's not going to know.
Right.
Is just like crazy because it's all separate. So I just, yeah.
All right, so the second one is chores. See what it says. See what they said here. It says you're living together, so you both have responsibilities to keep the living space actually livable. Cleaning, preparing meals, repairs. Both of you are responsible. If we leave all or majority of the work for one partner, spouse, resentment will build. This is especially true if they're working on chores and you're just sitting around playing games or watching TV. A balance needs to be determined. So the way we always talk about for us, because we're more like traditional, is she manages mostly the inside of the home and I manage mostly the outside of the home. We've talked about this before in previous podcasts. So we have chores that we do. Now, do we help each other with the chores that we usually do? Absolutely. I wouldn't sit here if my wife was like, "Hey, you're going down to the basement. Can you take the laundry out of the washer and put it in the dryer, or can you bring the clothes from the dryer up?" I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Yeah, that's not my job. You do that." Like, I'm not gonna do that. Of course, I'm gonna do that and help her. I'll take it out of the wash, put it in the dryer, or take the clothes out of the dryer and bring it back up. And if she's not feeling good, I'll do the dishes. She doesn't want me to cook, so I order food.
I would much rather him not cook.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've definitely helped, and she's helped outside. She likes mowing the lawn, and I work long hours, so she mows the lawn. But I've mowed
But
it.
even when I mow the lawn, I'll be like, okay, this is what I finished. Can you do the rest?
Yeah.
Like, I hate doing the backyard because it's a lot of going around things and going up and over and through, and it's just.
And then
it's
there's
like a
areas that need to be weed whacked, and
weed
I use
whacked
the
and
weed
everything.
whacker.
So I'm like, yeah. So it's like you offset each other.
Yeah. So
But it's like there are things that like we have naturally settled into that is
Right.
what I do. So I don't expect him when he's going down in the basement to check the washing machine and make sure that there's nothing that needs to go into the dryer. Like, I don't expect him to think of that because it's usually me and he can't read my mind. So I'm not one of those people that's like, well, he should know.
Yeah.
Or like, you should want to do the laundry. First off, nobody wants to do the laundry. Like,
that famous scene from the breakup with
you should
Jennifer Aniston.
want to do the laundry.
You should want.
No, nobody does. And because this is just how our household and our marriage is set up, he's most likely not going to think of these things. So I then have to be like, hey, if you're going down to the basement, can you bring this down with you? Or if you're going down to the basement, can you just move the clothes from the machine to the dryer? Like people get so bent out of shape. I shouldn't have to ask you.
Right.
But there's things that like I naturally do, and there's things that he naturally does. So why is he going to think of the things that I usually do unless I point them out to him?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I wasn't able to do, like, I was gonna do the dishes and I ended up with a migraine. Can you just take care of that for me? Like, of course he would never be like, no, that's your job.
I think it would be a huge issue if she was doing everything to manage the inside of the home and I did nothing to manage the outside of the home. I didn't mow the lawn, I didn't chop the wood, I didn't, put things away into the shed. I didn't clean around the hot tub. I didn't help with the pool, like things like that. Like if I wasn't doing anything outside the home, I think that's when she would be upset. Like I'm doing my part.
Hold up your end of the bargain here.
Yeah. So
and basically that half the time that's why I'm doing the laundry. End up doing the lawn because he's worked 65 hours that week and he's come home late and it's dark. So how in the heck is he doing the lawn? So
Well-
it's like you pick up each other's slack,
Right.
you know, like,
Yeah, but if like say if you didn't do the lawn, right?
yeah,
And
you
it
would
was-
eventually
if,
do
I would
it.
eventually do it.
Yeah, eventually.
But like say if you weren't doing the lawn because you're like, all right, Anderson likes doing the lawn. I'll leave the lawn to him. He likes to do it. But then like I just stopped doing it.
Right.
Then you'd be like,
I'd be like, you know what?
why are you doing?
What would happen if I just stopped doing the laundry?
Yes.
Like, what would happen?
Yeah. So we there are things expected of us for
Yeah,
us
that-
to do
that- the household
because we're
is
both
like is like an engine.
yeah, we
you
both
know?
bought this home and we're both in charge of
certain things.
keeping up with it and making it look nice and
Yeah.
you know and making it functional. So you know this is just it's just like an unwritten rule. And I know sometimes with like, oh, what if we live in an apartment? All right, well, if you live in an apartment and you have no outside upkeep, yeah, help inside the home. I mean, there's nothing else you can do. Like I did the laundry a lot when we had an apartment, mostly because
It was down the hall.
it was down the hall, or if that one's full, we lived in a long building. I'd have to run way down across the building.
And we had babies.
Yeah.
You know, like there's different phases
We had
too.
carpet, so I vacuumed.
there's
We have
different-
hardwood floors here, so I don't hardly vacuum.
There's different phases of like your marriage. You're gonna like remember those times.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like remember when we had babies and
Yeah.
like, you know, there's clearly if you've got little babies, there's clearly more that he's gonna have to help with
Right.
within the household. You know, because you're only one person. You can only do so much, and babies need so much care, and toddlers, and, you know, not to say that, like, children don't need your attention too, but as they're getting older and older, the less you need to do for them,
Right.
you know, like, the less they take up your time, and you can focus in other areas. Like, your marriage is, like, goes through phases.
Right.
You know, and then you can say, like, remember when we used to live in apartments and we had to go down the hall?
Yeah.
And we used to tie one of your ties to a laundry basket, and we would pull Carissa in the laundry
yeah.
basket
Yeah.
down the hall, and she'd
remember
be
those
like,
days.
wee.
Yeah, I remember those days.
She loved it. It was
Yeah,
like her
so-
most favorite thing.
So the one thing I would say is, wives, you know, if you need help,
Just say it.
ask him.
Just say it.
Don't sit there and be like, why is he not asking to help me? And then like they're fester and get mad at him.
Or why isn't he
Just
noticing that I
simply
need help? Just say
ask.
it. Just say it.
Simply ask. That's
I
it.
just got into a discussion on one of our somebody put in the comments, and it was that discussion. I was like, so you would rather wait for him to notice, however long that may be, and the whole time you're waiting for him to notice, you're stewing and growing more and more and more resentful to him when all you had to say was, hey, could you help me with this?
Yeah. Like I said, simply ask. Now, if you simply ask and then he says, that's not my job, I'm not doing that. Okay, then there's
There's
a
a problem.
Then there's a problem.
There's a
but
problem. And then that-
most
that
likely,
goes the
that's
other
not-
way, too.
Most likely, that's not going to happen.
That goes the other way too. Like if you ask me for help and I say no all the time, like
Yeah.
are you not going to grow resentment towards me?
Yeah.
Like you did all this work. I asked you a couple of times. You would never come and help me.
Yeah.
But you want to enjoy what I just did, you know, like building, you know, the deck in the back. You get to enjoy it, you know, but when I asked you to come and like hold this board, you wouldn't come help me because that's your job.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like there's an extreme where it's like, okay, you've gone too far.
Yeah. Well, that leads to the next one, number 3, communication. All right. Talk to each other. Don't sit there and let them
Stew.
wait for them to read your mind. Talk. Nobody is a mind reader. I swear I didn't know that was the next sentence. I swear I did not know. Sure, it would be nice if people could magically pick up on all the hints that get dropped and figure out exactly what we want them to do, but that's never going to happen.
No.
Never. I've been a part of my wife's life for 35 years. I think for us, I've been part of your life for 31, 31 years, almost as. So more than 60% of our lives, I still get it wrong. So does she. But when we actually speak up, we get it right. So talk to your spouse,
Direct.
especially the hard stuff.
Yeah.
You definitely got to be honest. You definitely got to tell the truth, even if the truth might be hard for you both to deal with. You know, you just got to talk to each other, because that's better than not saying anything and your spouse trying to figure out what's going on. You definitely got to communicate.
And the whole time you're getting madder and madder and madder because like they should know. I mean, this was the argument in I forget which video it was that we put up. Her argument literally was, he should notice the things that I like and memorize it. And I'm like, with everything? Like, okay, sure. He knows how I like my coffee. I know how he likes his coffee. Little things like that.
Yeah.
So little, sprinkles like that in our marriage, of course. But like, I mean, like I was saying.
I mean, that would be nice.
Yeah,
but
like if you could literally
that's
memorize.
Yeah, but that
Like, it's-
men aren't like that.
But then it's not even about that. It's like I was saying, how are you going to notice the laundry when you never have to notice the laundry because I'm the one that usually does it?
Right.
So if there's something going on with the laundry, wouldn't it just make more sense for me to be like, hey, couldn't get to that today. Could you help me out?
Right.
Instead of sitting here waiting for you to notice the laundry that you usually never notice because I'm the one noticing it.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, back to that thing about, memorize everything. I mean, look, I've always said it's good to study your wife, find out her interests, find out her likes. You want to know about your wife. You want to know who she
Of
is.
course.
And as your spouse grows, you want to learn more and more because your interests become different. Like I'm interested in different things than I was when I was 20. So you want to continue to learn more about your spouse. But you're never going to know everything. You're never going to know everything you like. There are things that you like that I don't even know about. And there might be something I think you like. I'm like, I'm going to get this for her. And you're going to be like, oh, thank you.
That's great.
That's awesome. Like,
That's great.
I don't know why it's like, oh, I said that was
flavor.
nice one time. And now he thinks it's the one thing I want in the world. Like, yeah, we're not always going to get it right. We're not always going to get it right. But men, you should study your wives. You should definitely get to know your wives.
Well, yeah, you should definitely study
And,
each
yeah,
other. And like,
but-
I know like the kind of food that you like because I'm the one that cooks.
Right. And,
You
and-
know?
right. And because of that, I would say wives, give your husbands grace, because if he's trying, that's a good thing. That's a great thing. If he's trying, he might not be perfect at it, but appreciate that he's trying. But back to the communication, even with the money, you got to communicate with money. You got to look, sometimes men would want to buy something and they're like, oh, I got to ask my wife. You know what? You don't have to ask her. She don't need to give you permission because it's your money too. But you want to discuss, hey, I want to make this purchase, right? Because you don't want to just go out and make this purchase if there's something she thinks she needs to get. Now you got to discuss something. It might not be in the
Which
budget
one
to
is
get.
priority?
You might not. Yeah, it might not be in the budget to get both. So
Right.
say if one is more of a priority than the other, and be like, okay, let's figure this out. We need this, but I think we need this more. So if you're okay with it, let's get this, and then in a month or two, we'll have the money to get that. Would that be okay? And that's fine, because as adults, we also need to learn to wait to purchase something, because if we buy things based on like, oh, I want it now, like impulsion, that's that's how children are. When you're an adult, you can wait. So you both need to discuss about this purchase. That's it. And then you'll be like, hey, look, we have the money. There's nothing. I think we're good. Everything. Yeah, you want to buy it? Yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it. You're not getting permission from your spouse You just want to
just
let your spouse
staying on
know
the same
and make sure your
page.
spouse is cool, because you don't want to just go and buy something and be like, whoa, what's going on here? Why? I didn't know you were going to make this big purchase.
Yeah. It's
Like-
literally like in like that pay period, you're discussing where that money's going to go.
Right.
It's not even about like, let me ask permission, because he has his thoughts on things that need to be purchased and I have mine.
Yeah.
So it's like you bring it to the table and then you prioritize.
Yeah.
You see what like having joint accounts do to communication?
Right.
And you know, it's everybody has to bring it, you have to bring it to the table. You have
Yeah,
to.
you have to.
Or you're going to end up like, I didn't know you were spending $500. I just spent $300. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're going to end up a mess. It forces you to communicate, and it forces you to put literally
Right.
everything on the table so it can be discussed.
Especially if you talk about it in the beginning of the month. I mean, we've gone through Financial Peace University, which is through Dave, and we set up the budget. You try to set up the budget at the beginning of every month. So if there's a purchase you want to make that month, you look at it in your purchase and you look for it in your budget. And then you talk about it with your spouse to be like, look, this is our budget. These are all our bills, gas, groceries, everything. This is what we have left over. This is what we're putting in the savings. Hey, I wanted to use some of this money this month. I wanted to buy this. And he's like, is there anything you were looking to do? And if he or she is like, no, I'm cool.
Be like, all
Like,
right.
yeah, no, yeah, definitely have you're right. We definitely have the money. We'll be able to still put money in savings, and you can buy that thing that you've been wanting to buy.
It also, like, you can do like reminders at that point. Like, if like you're like, oh well, I was gonna get this thing for my bike. It's kind of pricey, but like it broke, so I have to get this thing for my bike. And if I was like, yeah, but like the thing on the pool just broke, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. You know,
bike
like
can wait.
the bike can wait.
Unfortunately.
See, it forces you to prioritize, but it also like
Yeah.
you have two brains on the same topic. So it's like he forgot that the pool thing broke, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So it's like your two brains are working
Yeah.
together on the same
Yeah.
topic. you
Yeah.
know?
That's how you communicate, and obviously you communicate with, I know a lot of times our husbands forget dates of things. Hey, we're
Our
going
husbands,
well, your husbands,
our husbands,
your husbands. I don't have a husband.
No, you do not.
I know us husbands, we forget like dates, like, oh, this Saturday we were going to go to
Oh,
so-and-so's
God.
birthday party. And you're like, oh, crap. Okay, I guess I'm not going kayaking, or I'm not going to go to the range with the guys, or biking, or
God,
whatever.
that does
Like-
not mean that he didn't care about it.
Yeah.
Like right away, we're like, see, you forget about it because you didn't even care.
Yeah.
And it's like, no,
No, we
they just forgot.
sometimes-
We're
sometimes-
just better at this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the opposite in your marriage. Maybe he's always doing the
You know-
reminders and you're the one forgetting.
It's
I
crazy.
Don't know.
Like, although the woman's brain is like, it's a bunch of wires and networks, and it's all jumbled up and everything.
All
and the
these
men's-
apps are open.
and the men are more compartmentalized. It's crazy because even with all that, women are more organized. Even with all that,
well, I think that's why.
like
because we can have that
we're
all going on.
compartmentalized. Like if you compartmentalize, your basement, that's nice and organized. But in our heads, that's how it is. But we're not as organized in real life as women are. Women are more organized.
Yeah,
it's
but
just crazy.
Like with men, your I can't even say the word let's say
Carpet.
it.
I can't say it. Carmen. I can't say it. I want to say Carmen.
Okay. Anyways, compartments. You have compartments.
Compartmentalize.
But the-
Compartmentalize. Compartment. Say that 3 times fast.
No, thank you. I'm just going to say compartments. You can only focus on one compartment at a time.
Yeah.
That's the point. And like us women, we can have all these apps open and focus on every single app at the same time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the difference between a male brain and a female brain.
Right. Exactly. All right. Take notes, fellas. All right.
Taking notes.
So last one, number 4 says lack of effort. So saying I do does not mean we've crossed the finish line and can relax now. Nope. That does not. That's not what that means.
It's just beginning.
You still got to date each other. Still got to go on dates. Still got to pursue your wife. Still got to pursue your husband.
Prioritize your marriage.
Yeah. Okay. In fact, it wasn't a finish line. It was a save point. You still have, I like that. It's a save point. You still have plenty to go, and you need to continue to put it in the effort. Continue to arrange dates, like what I just said.
What we just said.
Continue to find new things to do together. We do. We do. And continue to date one another. It's what attracted you to each other originally. So if you don't do it, why would you expect the attraction to remain? So that's true. Like I always say, we try to go on 2 dates a month. We haven't gone on any dates just because I was laid off in the winter. So we're just trying to.
Well, that and like vacations coming
Vacations
up.
coming
So
up.
we're going to go on plenty of dates.
But we can go for a walk. We can go for a coffee. I mean, I think we went to like Lowe's one time. That was a date for us. All right.
Yeah. No, any of this kind
Doesn't
of
have
stuff.
to be a fancy dinner.
Any of this kind of stuff. Like, hey, hon, I'm running to Walmart. Want to come?
Yeah. So
like, okay.
So that we've said this many times. It's just going out, doing something together. You know, that's it. It's a date. If you're a couple that likes to go jogging, going jogging together, that's a date. Okay. So we go try to go on 2 dates a year, and then we go away 2 dates a month, and then we go away 2 times a year without the kids. The kids. And believe me, those are like great times without the kids. It's when we go away on vacation with the kids, it's nice. It's great. We get to see the kids happy, doing things for the kids.
Well, you're making
memories with the kids. It's
memories.
Great. But when it's just us, it's just a totally different vibe. It's just like, man,
well,
this
I feel like
living. This is living.
Yeah, it's like your brain turns different.
Yeah.
Like all of it's just like the way you see things, you know, like what you want to do, like what your focus is, like it's totally different. Like it forces you to focus on the marriage and just your other person.
Yeah.
You know, the other person.
Yeah.
So
you definitely got to still stay focused on each other. Don't let the kids take that focus away. That's what happens in a lot of marriages. We've talked about this before. We'll talk about it again. Is a lot of times that's where the marriages start going downhill.
When it's
when
solely
the kids
focused
when the
on
kids,
the kids.
When the kids start coming into their lives and the kids grow, it becomes all about their kids. They sign up their kids for like 40 things throughout the year.
You have
and
like
your
zero
whole life,
time at home.
Your whole life is being their number one fan and chauffeur and chef, you know, and whatever else, you know, and you have no time and you're too tired. You're too tired to do anything with each other because all this attention you're giving your kid is making you exhausted. You know, and the kids are going to grow up fine if they're signed up for one sport and that one sport doesn't make them travel all over the country. If they have one sport where when they travel, they take a bus and then they come back and you could just go to home games.
Yep.
Some away game. Your kid's going to grow up fine. No kids in therapy right now be like, well, my parents didn't sign me up for 3 sports where I traveled all over the country. So, yeah, that's why I have high anxiety.
Like, no.
Like, sign your kid up for one sport. I mean, our kid has 2. But it's
different seasons.
Yeah, it's 2 different seasons.
That's
right.
when it's insane to me when you have like, you know, your daughter signed up for soccer, dance, and gymnastics, like all at the same time. Like
one sport at a time.
I mean, sometimes the sports they connect, like dance and gymnastics kind of connect together, so you kind of need the both. But it's just, you know, I also think that like so many kids like don't know what to do with themselves if they're home.
Right.
Like the parents have to fill their schedules for them.
Right.
Because like when they can't just be.
Yeah.
You know, like our kids, we told them very early on they're not allowed to say the word bored.
Yeah.
It's like a swear word.
Yep.
Like, no way. There's
Never
no
allowed.
way. You have plenty to do. You don't have to be gone. You don't have to be signed up for something. You don't have to be like part of something 24 flipping 7, where like you're never home.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's good when the kids like to be home,
Yeah.
know how to like just like, you know, release all the stress from being at school.
Yeah, I mean, our daughters
You
were
know?
pretty good at it. I mean, our oldest, I remember she was big into the Hunger Games books, so she would, you know, she would read those books when she's, you know, we go into her room and see her reading that book. You know, our middle child, she loves to draw. She's a very good artist. She loves to draw, and she'll like look at something and she'll draw it,
She'll
and
just draw it
and
by
it looks like a
memory.
tracing. She's very good at. So sometimes I'll go in her room and she's doing that. She's doing that. She's not just like glued to her phone or her TV. And then our youngest, you know, she does like gaming, but there are times I'll go in there. She's reading a book or she's reading a comic book. She likes comic books. So it's
She
it's
also
like
she plays basketball
it's
outside.
in the summer months she'll go outside and play basketball.
Riding bikes.
Yeah, she goes mountain biking with me. So it's like, you know, they have things to keep them occupied, and we hardly hear them. They say they're bored
Yeah.
because they know
Yeah.
they know how to entertain themselves and keep
Yeah,
themselves
that
busy.
and it's okay to just be in a relaxed state.
Yeah,
You know, like I just feel like, you know, kids' schedules are just chock full.
yeah,
It's like all week long and then your entire weekend. And you know, it's great to have you know, something that the kids love to do. You know, Maya loves soccer. She loves basketball. She didn't even know she loved basketball. She just gave it a whirl one day and was like, yeah, I like this. So we keep signing her up because she likes it. But it's not going to be their whole identity, and it is not going to take over her entire life. And yeah, it's just an extracurricular activity.
Yeah.
It's not her like personality, you know, like it's not her entire being.
yeah. So
know?
yeah, so we kind of got off topic with the kids.
Anyways,
But lack of effort, yeah, definitely continue to pursue each other. Like we said, take some of that advice. Go on 2 dates a month.
well, yeah, that's
Even
how
if-
that's how we got off topic about the kids, because when you chuck fill your kid's schedule,
Right.
that leaves zero time
Right.
for your marriage.
Take time away. Like if you have parents, do you think your parents would not be okay watching your kid for like an afternoon while you go grab a cup of coffee? Yeah, they're definitely gonna do that. Sometimes there are some parents that are like, give us the kids for the weekend. Take advantage of that. Or if you have a close friend or a sibling, you know, be like, hey, you mind watching our kid for like maybe a couple hours tonight so we can go catch a movie? Yeah, if you have a good friend that would do that, that loves your kid, yeah. I mean, take advantage. There are people around you that will willing to help, you know, and if you're afraid to leave your kid with somebody, I mean, that's a whole other issue. But yeah, definitely make the effort. Continue to date each other. Continue to do what you were doing before you got married. It doesn't stop. When you move in, when you're married and you move in together, all that stuff doesn't stop. It should continue until death do you part.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, hey, and now do you take this woman to be your wife and stop dating her until death do you part? No. You gotta still date. You still gotta feel that romance. You still wanna have like, you know, that honeymoon phase does kind of go away, but you still want to be like excited, like, oh my God, we're gonna go out and do this, or oh my God, I can't wait to, you know, go grab a cup of coffee with my husband Saturday afternoon, or go get ice cream, or go try this new bakery, or whatever it is. Whatever it is, it could be the most simplest thing,
Yeah.
you know, and
I think that like whenever you're adding something to your family or to your schedule, or you're adding something to your marriage or just the household, like you know, say Maya is signed up for basketball, but she also on top of that wanted to do gymnastics. Like our marriage should be a part of that conversation. Is it going to get in the way of, is it going to take over so much that we're not going to be able to focus at all on our marriage, because that matters.
Yeah.
It matters. Is it going to take up way too much, time from the family, and too much time in the actual schedule of the family? Your marriage needs to be in that scenario. No, that's going to be way too much. I feel like we're never going to see each other. We're just going to be passing boats in the night. It's just going to be 24/7. Like, it should matter that it's going to affect your marriage. It should matter.
Right. All right. So
next one.
So the next one here is, what is the biggest challenge in your marriage? And a lot of Reddit posters responded. So the one that I like the most is this one here. So this person writes, 17 years married, and we went through some rough patches. Counseling, dude. I put my foot down in year 5 and said, look, we're not communicating. This is clearly not working. But I already had a divorce under my belt, and I will be damned if I let this one end and not know why. So this person already went through a divorce and realizes divorce is not good. I already went through it, and it's not a good thing.
Like, it's not going to happen again.
I am fixing this marriage.
Yeah, this
good
is
for this
not
person.
going to happen again.
So this person says spouse agreed, and that it was at least worth a shot to figure out what we'd done wrong. So we went to counseling. Good for them. For 3 months, we sat on either end of the couch in her office, fuming at each other. And finally, we started to
That's how
learn.
it starts.
And finally, we started to learn to listen to each other.
Oh,
I highly, highly recommend couples counseling with the right counselor.
that matters.
So if you guys can interview your therapist or your marriage counselor, you can interview them. You don't have to just choose any old marriage counselor.
And just start unloading
Yeah,
on this
you
person.
can-
You don't even know if this
You
is the
can
right
talk to
person to
them.
talk to.
You can talk to them, asking what their views are on, like if they're a feminist.
What are your views on
Like,
feminism?
are you a feminist? Yes, I am.
Okay,
guys,
next.
run. All right. She'd have us talk about stuff, and then when one of us said something that was triggering, that was indicative of our own wounds. She stopped us and would say that again. No, say it again, and then we'd see what we were really saying. The argument is never about the argument. It's always about something else. The argument over how the eggs were being cooked was really about my crippling fear of abandonment, right?
Seriously.
So after those 3 months, I realized I'd seen so much hurt and angry that I wasn't willing to let go of my anger and give room for us to heal. So we took a healthy dose of LSD. Where did this turn?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
And in the middle of the trip,
What the
I let the anger go and let myself trust again. Whoa.
Wait a minute.
Wait
So
a
they were
minute.
in therapy just so they could do drugs anyways?
It says we learned to reconnect, we healed. And by the way, is what those things are. They are largely wasted at raves.
Okay.
So LSD is used to help you calm your anger and trust yourself again. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it.
That went a different way.
Yeah, didn't expect that. So, look, good for them for willing to fix it. All right. Hopefully, the LSD doesn't become a new problem in their marriage. Now, like it's been a walk in the park. But ever since then, we have known that we're on the same side. We've trusted each other, and we have helped each other face traumas and obstacles together. Once you figure out you're on the same side, then everything else kind of comes along. However you get to that, that's what counts. I agree with when you're on the same side and when you trust each other, because if you're arguing, you're not arguing to win. You're arguing to solve the problem. You both solve the problem together. That's how you win. You don't win by being right.
Yeah.
If you're right and she's wrong,
You lose.
yeah, unless you're choosing a color of a room. She's always right. But anyways, but I'm just saying that when you argue, it's about solving the problem together. That's what it is. You can't,
Whatever way you do. I mean, and you can't solve the problem if while you're arguing, all you're doing is trying to hurt the other person in your argument. So, like the way you argue matters. You know, you should never be arguing and using like words as weapons against the other person. You know, because that you're not. Like you're definitely not going to solve whatever's going on.
Yeah.
Both people are just going to leave fuming.
right.
You know, because each person's you're just taking swings at each other.
Yeah.
You know, like oh, you just hurt me in what you just said. Now I'm going to hurt you in what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And it's just continuous. It's like a bad cycle.
Yeah.
You know. And like no competing. We've said that before. You're not in competition with your husband. You're not in competition with your wife. If you're competing with each other, then you're going to lose, both of you.
Right. Yeah. One person responds with, the argument is never about the argument. This is so often true. It's true. It's hard to let go of the past when we realize that we can change and move forward while somehow diminishing ourselves. So that I agree with that, because there might be some issues from our childhood or things we went through. I mean, there are things that my kids have done that's triggered me because it's happened when I was a kid. And I was just like, just don't say that. Just don't say that, because it just reminds me of things that happened when I was a kid. So I was just like, don't. I want you saying that. I don't want you doing that, right? So one person says, what do you do when your spouse has no interest in going? Person responds with, good question. My first marriage, I said we needed counseling. Spouse refused. And therefore, for me, the marriage was over. After I left, suddenly counseling was on the table, but it was too late. Yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah.
It's like,
The
you know,
effort.
yeah, you want to do the effort if you're trying to save your marriage. I know someone who was trying to save their marriage. They wanted to save their marriage. He was a Christian man, and he believed that, like, you know, the marriage vows and saving your marriage. So, and she didn't. She wanted out. She said she never really wanted to be married. I mean, what can he do? What can he do then? You know, and as Christians, we don't want to get a divorce. You know, divorce is not a good thing. Now, does that mean he's living life of sin in God's eyes? No. I mean, he wanted to fix it, but his spouse did not.
Yeah, it has to be both parties.
I really believe that God would not want us to be in a marriage where one person did not love you anymore and did not want to be with you and could possibly just be having infidelity. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it could possibly happen. So, I mean, I kind of agree. She wanted counseling and her spouse did not, you know, and I'm assuming when it was too late, I'm assuming the divorce was already done. And
or she had already decided,
maybe she was just already over.
She was probably like, I'm not seeing any effort.
Yeah.
I'm sick of having to put 100% of me in, and I'm not seeing the same percentage of you being put in.
Right.
So, like, done.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you say that to someone, when you say, like, I would like to go to counseling, and they say no, I mean, to me, it's like, but this is what I'm thinking that might help us. And you're saying no. So to me, it's like, you don't want to fix it. You don't want to put in the time. What are we doing?
Yeah. But I applaud this person for still being like, I want counseling. Let's fix this because I don't want to go through this again. Because most people are like, you know what? I'm done. I've been through this before. I don't want to go through this again and divorce again.
Yeah.
But this person was like, no, divorce is not going to be.
It's not on the table.
It's not going to be on the table this time. No, I'm putting my foot down. and we're going through counseling. So good
Yeah,
for that
which is
person.
what-
That is somebody who believes in the sanctity of marriage and believes in winning in their marriage, and that's a great attitude. If you have a spouse that is like that, you have won.
Well, I mean, it's like we've said, like divorce should be very, 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 very last resort.
Yeah.
You have like exhausted all other options.
Right.
You know, because it's not a good outcome for anybody. It's not a good outcome for the wife, for the husband. There's a lot of, damage done. There's a lot.
Right.
And then if there's children involved, then there's damage done in that aspect as well.
Right.
So, and to think that they're not because like you both still love the kids, the father's still in the life, you're still in the life, but divorce matters to kids, and they notice.
There's collateral
They notice.
damage.
There's collateral damage. So
It affects a lot of people. Just if there's kids involved, it affects. Even if they're adults,
yeah,
it does affect.
Same thing. Same
It
thing.
does affect.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna end it there. There is another one I wanted to go through,
Yeah,
but
we're
I think
going on an hour now.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably leave it for the next episode. Maybe we'll do that. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If there's like a Reddit story that you guys find really interesting
Yeah,
and wanted
let's
us to go
talk.
over it,
Let's hang
definitely send it to us on Instagram or if you follow us on Instagram or TikTok, or even send the link in the comments. And we'd definitely like to read it and go over it. So if you guys have any suggestions,
There's a lot of interesting stories.
oh yeah,
out
Reddit.
there.
Yeah, a lot
Reddit's
of
crazy.
a lot of podcasts like to read Reddit stories. It's just it's the
'Cause
best.
it's just like a
I mean, you're reading
glimpse.
about other people you don't even really know about
No.
them, so it's not like you're gossiping. So.
No, it's just like you're talking about the scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. So thank you guys for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram and on TikTok. Also follow us on our joint account on Instagram.
Tina
as well.
and Anderson.
Yes. And I've noticed, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I did put Tina's wrong TikTok account in past videos.
You did that on purpose.
I put Tina D. It's not Tina D.
You did that on purpose.
You might go to another Tina.
Oops.
You're like, wait a minute, this doesn't look like the Tina from the Tina and Anderson show. So it's the right one this time, guys. But subscribe, hit the notification bell and the like button. And we appreciate you guys. And we hope next time we see you, we have even more subscribers. So tell a friend to tell a friend. All right, see you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.